Hello YouTube, and welcome to this new and kinda short lore video. In addition to it being short, it's also a bit different. A while ago, one of my friends on Discord, Mr. Geo, pushed me this video by Fudgemuppet, the two unexplained dragons of Skyrim. In this video they discuss the dragon that we find under Blackreach and the Skeletal Dragon that we find in the Labyrinthium. Now my friend asked me to do my own video on the Skeletal Dragon, as I have my own theory on the matter and I discussed it with him earlier. So I got into contact with Fudgemuppet and they gave me permission to create a video that builds upon theirs. Their video is in the description, and without further ado, let's kick off with this video. So, the Skeletal Dragon in the Labyrinthian. As I said, Fudgemuppet covered this dragon in their video, and for the full story on the dragon and on the Labyrinthian, check that one out. However, in short, they presented their theories on how the dragon was being resurrected, either in a process involving Morokai, the dragon priest in the Labyrinthian, or stating that the skeleton was probably assembled by Shalador from dragon bones that he found all over Skyrim, and then put together with strong magic to serve as a test for future archmages who would have themselves be put to the test by the Labyrinthian. Now, I agree that these theories presented in this video were pretty solid, and I could see them being true. And in this video I will not focus on the resurrection part, but I will mainly be focusing on how I think that the skeleton of the dragon actually ended up there in the first place. Now, Mr. Geo, the guy passing me this video idea, argued, just like some comments under Fudgemuppet's videos, that this might be the skeleton of an ancient dragon, the ancient dragon Durnavir. Basically, the dragon that dared to dabble in necromancy and then lost his free will and soul to the ideal masters. We actually meet him in the Dragonborn DLC. And that this dragon, Durnavir, was then buried in a tomb underground, instead of a burial mound on the ground, to let people forget about the shame of a dragon being tricked like this. He argued that this would explain the absence of a dragon soul when we kill the skeletal dragon, since the soul of the dragon is then in the soul cairn, because Durnavir is in the soul cairn. Now, I really like this theory, and I wish it was true because it would give a really nice, amazing lore detail to Skyrim. But there are some major problems with this theory. First of all, Durnavir entered the soul cairn with his own body, and thus the skeleton can't be really in the Labyrinthian since, well, his body and his skeleton are in the soul cairn. The second major problem that I have with this theory is that while it's a cool theory and it adds, well, as I said, a very cool lore detail to Skyrim, the skeleton has 2 horns on his head and Durnavir has more than 2 horns, so they don't even have the same skeleton. So it's not Durnavir, unfortunately. That being said, if it isn't Durnavir, who is it then? Which dragon is this? Well, there is a simple theory, and that it was simply one of the 12 unnamed dragons killed by the Dragon Guard. That was brought up by my friend, Grandmaster Joffrey. However, the problem with this theory in my eyes is that, well, there were more dragons killed by the Dragon Guards, and those were buried in open spaces and not some vault underground. And when they were resurrected by Alduin, they regained their skin. This one remained skinless and soulless. So what is it then? Well, let's set aside momentarily the possibility that the dragon is actually being resurrected and is fighting because he's being resurrected by Alduin. Let's say that this is not a dragon being resurrected, but a skeleton being controlled by a necromancer. Then, well, this makes just a lot more sense, as it explains the movement and fighting of the dragon while it does not have a soul. But the only way to kill a dragon permanently is to steal its soul, and its soul gets only stolen if it's killed by a dragonborn. And I think that that is exactly what happened. I think that this particular dragon was killed by Mirak during the early days of his rebellion. Mirak's story, in short, is that he was a dragon priest who ruled over men during the time of the dragon cult. However, during his time as a dragon priest, he learned from Hermaeus Mora how to bend the will of dragons. He then started doing this and started killing dragons to increase his own power. I think that this particular dragon we find in the Labyrinthian was slain by him. Its soul was absorbed by Mirak. And then, when Mirak was gone, the dragon cult member then buried the dragon skeleton deep in the Labyrinthian instead of in a regular burial mound, to keep the skeleton away from the public so that the residents of Skyrim would not see the dragon that was overthrown by the mortals. and that they would not get the idea in their heads that they, as mortals, could also overthrow a dragon. I think that this dragon that we find here and the burial of the dragon here in the Labyrinthian is purely an act of self-preservation by the dragon cult, in an attempt to keep the image of the immortal dragons that can't be defeated, in order not to lose control over the population, which they eventually would for other reasons, but that's a topic for another video. Now, if you wish to hear some theories on how the dragon is being resurrected, I can recommend watching Fudgemuppet's video on it. This was just a requested reaction on that video, and I did just that, as I'm not planning to copy their content. So now I wish to thank Fudgemuppet for giving me permission to do this video to build upon their theory, and I wish to thank Mr. Geo for requesting this topic. That said, if you liked the video, check out my channel for more lore related content. I do a lot more lore than just these kind of reaction videos. And I also would really recommend you liking this video and subscribing to my channel and hitting the bell button if you want to be notified when a new video comes out. Now, if you want personal contact with me, there's my Instagram and Discord in the description. Also in the description is my Patreon. With my Patreon you get your name at the end of every video, and you get access to some exclusive Patreon content like vlogs, and also the amazing soundtrack that is featured under this video. And yeah, I will see you all in the next lore video, probably in a few days. Bye bye.